Hi, I'm David Kingsland and I'm one of the managers here of Field Day 2015 for the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club. We're here at Pinchin Farm, Mississauga Road and the 403, just walking around the locations, figuring out where to put the tents, where to put the antennas, where to put the stations, the generators, making sure they don't interfere with each other, and generally just setting everything up so it's going to be a successful event once again.
What?
We need to choose where we're going to be so that Eugene can put the stakes in the ground.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And is this within, what's the limit?
It's pretty much all.
Yeah. Okay, so we're within the radius. Yeah. We're good. Okay.
I can't remember the scale.
Right.
I've got the scale somewhere.
No, I was...
So far, all the junk I bought for the generators and gas and stuff is about $90, so we're not over budget.
Good day, gentlemen. My name is Ed Swingola, and my call sign is Victor Alpha 3 Tango Papa Victor, and I am with the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. And this year weekend, June 27th to 28th, is when we have our field day. And the field day is an event where we practice emergency communications. You can see behind us we have some portable antennas set up, and we have our local generators for power, and the whole exercise runs for about 27 hours, and we practice emergency communications. Now, this event is a North American event, United States and Canada predominantly, and the premise of the event is, I said, to practice emergency communications. So we try to see how many stations we can contact, and we exchange a bit of information. And what that information is like, for instance, in this here club, we have 9 stations operating simultaneously. So part of the information exchange is our category, which is 9, indicating the number of stations. Alpha, or A, which indicates that we are a club. And we also give the physical location where we are at. And we are in the Greater Toronto area, so the 3-letter abbreviation GTA is used for our location. So all together, we would exchange Victor Echo 3 Mike India Sierra, VE3MIS, which is the club call sign, 9 Alpha, and GTA. And of course, we would get a similar type of exchange from the other stations which we are in contact with. Like for instance, a station down in Louisiana might be operating 1 Delta LA, and there are altogether 5 categories in this here event: Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, and Echo, and each one of those would indicate the category that the club or the individual is operating under.
Hi, you're at the VE3MIS Field Day event in 2015. I'm George, VE3YV, and the guy sitting next to me, who's coming into camera view now, is Thomas, VA3TMB. We're operating the digital mode station this field day from a tent here in the rain, which seems to have finally let up. And so we're running on all bands. Right now we're on 15 meters. It's about 9:30 in the morning, and 15 is open. And so Thomas has some PSK signals on the screen, and he's trying to see if we can work any of them. So we'll let you get over and pan over in the screen. Now, PSK stands for phase shift keying, and what it'll look like on this particular display, which is called a waterfall, is it'll be a series of red lines sort of dropping down the screen, and that's where the name waterfall comes from. And so those are digitally, each one of those is a separate station, digitally encoded, and then we're using a contest logging program. And part of the screen also gives us the ability to look at multiple signals at once to sort of see which ones we've seen and which ones we've already talked to and which ones we haven't. So at this point, Thomas just found a station that we've already talked to before, so that one isn't going to work out for us. So now he's going to look at another one, and click onto it to see what he's able to find. Now, one of the advantages of digital modes is that unlike the other modes, it's quiet. We don't need headphones, we don't need the loudspeaker. What we will do for a second here is we'll turn the volume up, and just so you can see, what you're hearing there is mostly in noise. Now that signal, you're now hearing multiple signals. That's the sound of the various PSK signals. And as you can see, it's better to keep the sound down because it gets very annoying in a hurry. So at this point, we're just going to watch Thomas try to find a signal of somebody that we haven't talked to before, and go from there. And we're using a series of pre-programmed macros, which really helps also. Not too many signals. If we went down on 20 meters, it would be sort of solid signals across the band, and while that's wonderful to have that many stations, it actually makes it very difficult for the station to separate out individual stations. So it's a classic case of win-lose. Okay, Thomas is just now trying to contact another station. He first of all got his us centered on their frequency, because at 31 hertz wide, you have to be very precise in your tuning, and your radio has to have good frequency stability. Not a problem for most modern rigs. Okay, well, in terms of how we've done this field day, we're a little disappointed. We haven't made as many contacts as we'd like to. Right now we've made a total of 91 contacts, starting at about 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon because of generator problems. And we went till about midnight with a supper break, and then started up again about 5:30 and had a breakfast break, and we're now back here. And we've made only 91 contacts so far. So those contacts have been on 80 meters, 40 meters, 20 meters, and 15 meters. And we've done both PSK 31, which we were describing a few minutes ago, as well as a much older mode that's been around for many decades called radio teletype. And we've also made a number of radio teletype contacts. Looking here, it looks like we've made about 30 radio teletype contacts, and that would mean 61 PSK contacts so far.
A little bit more information about field day. We try to operate as many different modes as possible, and by modes I mean voice communications or digital communications. Digital can fall into the category of Morse code, or it can fall into the categories of specialized digital communications modes like phase shift keying 31, PSK 31. And we try to practice not only the different modes, but the stations that we have here today, the 9 stations, are operating on various amateur radio bands that we are licensed in the shortwave part of the radio spectrum. So we have 160 meter band. That is the wavelength. When we talk about 160 meters, we talk about the wavelength of that band, and that is 1.8 megahertz. We also operate on the 80 meter band, which is predominantly around 3.75 megahertz. We operate on the 40 meter band, which is predominantly 7.2 megahertz. We operate on the 20 meter band, which is around 14 megahertz. We operate on the 15 meter band, which is 21 megahertz. And we operate on the 10 meter band, which is up over 28 megahertz. We also do some communications on the 2 meter band, which is up around 144 megahertz. But we do try to get on most of the bands with the different modes. A little about HF communications. HF communications, we predominantly depend upon the ionosphere. The radiation level from the sun ionizing the upper atmosphere. And this ionization layer causes our radio waves to bend and refract. So therefore we can communicate at a longer distance. Now, this is all dependent upon, of course, the density of the ionosphere and the appropriate frequency to choose, because if the ionosphere is not ionized dense enough, then our radio waves go just zipping through it. So we do try to pick a frequency band which is appropriate for the ionization layer at any particular time. Now, in an event like this here weekend, because we're on all bands, we get to practice communications on some of the bands which are only good during the daytime and others which are only good during the night. 80 and 160 meters are predominantly a nighttime band. 40 meters and 20 meters can be both a daytime and a nighttime band. 15 meters similarly, but 10 meters is predominantly a daytime band, because it really depends upon dense ionization of the upper atmosphere in order to reflect and refract our signal. Now, I mentioned about the sunspot cycle. The radiation levels coming from the sun are not constant. They vary in intensity on an 11-year basis, peak to peak. And right now, unfortunately, we are in the downside of the 11-year peak cycle, and 10-meter band, which I've been operating on today, has not been very good. Propagation has been really poor. So in a situation like that, what we would do in an emergency communication basis is we would shift frequency to a band that is more appropriate for the ionization level that we would experience at that particular time.
Hello, my name's Thomas Gernon. My call sign's VE3ETG. I'm the Vice President of the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club, and we're here on a rainy, cold, long weekend in June doing Field Day. Field Day is somewhere where we set up our radios to practice if there was ever an emergency and the power was to go out, that we can communicate and pass on messages in an emergency. So we have our radios that we set up in tents outside. We put up antennas outside and we try to make contacts. This year it was kind of bad. The weather was really horrible, and so there was some solar flares and we didn't get much contacts, but some bands did well. I also did 160 in the evening because that's a night band, and we made 15 contacts on 160. We made 3 on 10 meters, is what I'm doing here, and we had a good time. We just hung out as a club and socialized and made contacts. Oh, and the dog joined us too. She got cold, so she's wrapped up sleeping right now. So that's basically what we do. We do it every year, the last weekend in June, and maybe next year, if you guys are around, you should come out and see us.
My name is Mario. My call sign is VA3EON. I'm here with the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club on a field day, and I'm operating on 10 and 15 meters on flex radio, and I'm operating on 2 antennas. You can see it outside. It's Moxon and Dipole. As you can see, we have really nice weather.
So that's how the flex radio looks like on the screen?
Yeah. So now you can see it's, how it looks like visually.
So what's the score for today?
Not like last year, like 10% than last year. So I would say it's due to weather and some technical difficulties due again bad weather.
My name is John Coons, and my call sign is Victor Echo 3 Juliet Oscar Charlie. I'm operating the radio here at Field Day for our club station, which is Victor Echo 3 Mike India Sierra. We're operating on 40 meters. The weather is not good. It's been raining all day today and all day yesterday. The band conditions are quite poor, actually, and we've managed to make 160 contacts so far, most of them in the U.S. The weather doesn't look like it's going to get any better, and we're operating on, as I said, 40 meters, which is 7299 at the moment, and we're working between 7.0 and 7.3 on the frequency. Lots of action around at the moment, but conditions are not good. There was a solar flare. Between that, the weather, and poor propagation, it makes it hard to really work the frequencies, but we're doing the best we can. So that's the radio we're using is a Yaesu FT1000MP, and the unit on top here is just an external speaker. When we're operating on a contest like Field Day, we generally use the headphones to keep out extraneous noise. And we log all of our contacts into the computer here, and it keeps track of all of our calls and the frequencies. The computer's hooked up to the radio. So when we change frequency on the radio, it also changes frequency on the computer. So it keeps track of what frequency you're on at the time you make a contact, and all I have to do is type in the call sign, the class, and the section of the contact that I'm currently making. So you can see here the call sign, the class, and the section goes in here, but I haven't entered that yet. So that's how that particular logging program works. So that's our day. That's what we do.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Marcus, VA3 MQS. We are here at Field Day. As you can probably see from the tarps and the tents, it's windy, wet and cold. Yesterday the antenna came down 3 times. We had to put the mast up 4 times to make it work. It's working now. The band conditions, because the weather is so great, are equally great. A lot of fading, nothing really going on, not getting out really well. But we're here and we are prepared, and if this was an emergency, we would be here running the show and communications.
Thank you.
I'm Basil Burgess, I'm VE3 JEB, and I'm working with Marcus and Anand here on the 20 meter band. This is my 6th field day. This is the first time a field day has been cold and rainy like this, and I think this separates out a lot of I'd be surprised if there weren't a lot of people who stayed home from various sites, but it does highlight the fact that we're here does highlight the dedication we have to the responsibility that we've been given as amateur radio operators. The ham spectrum isn't entirely free. It depends on us being willing to help when there's a communications need. And I really believe in this, and I really believe in the value of Field Day. To have a good time, yeah, when the weather's better and so forth, but to stand up and say, you know, this is how we earn the privilege that we have.
Echo 3, Mike India Sierra.
Hello, my name is Valentine Stubbs. My call is Victor Echo 3, Victor Sierra, VE3 PVS. Every year for Field Day, we set up a wireless network where all of the various band stations have a laptop using a program called N1MM, which is a piece of logging software. And they log, we get it all in a central place, and that way there's no issues about, you know, putting databases together or whatever. However, this year we've had a few setbacks with the implementation. Mainly because one of the pieces of equipment that we used decided not to work, and the other pieces of equipment we're using, I have never used before, and they were configured a little bit oddly. So it's been a bit of a challenge, but yeah, still learning about it. So.
I'm Michael, Victor Echo 3 Tango Kilowatt India, and for years I have been doing 40 meters CW Morse code. I started doing this in the early 90s. Told my wife that I was going to go to field day once and just to try it out, and I've been doing it every year ever since. So we've had our challenges this year with the weather. It's been rainy and extremely windy, and this is my tent trailer, and we've had a canopy or a tarp shredded, and we've had a lot of wind and a lot of rain overnight. But it's nice and warm in here with the heater going, and so it's good. As far as CW is concerned, Morse code, I'm using a different antenna this year. It's a vertical antenna, and I was expecting to find that there would be different propagation, and to some degree there has, but not to the extent I thought there was going to be. I got started very late yesterday, about 6 o'clock, and by 4:30 this morning I had 105 contacts, which is sort of typical for me in 10 hours, a bit better than usual. And as far as power is concerned, I'm using a Honda 2000 watt generator, which is very quiet. It's a low-level generator, and it's over in the bushes here, sort of thing, and it's quiet. We've had to fuel it a few times, and so that's what we've been up to. We're nice and warm in here with the gas heater and whatnot, so it's been good. And I'm using Yaesu FT1000MP. It's my home radio, and I've got a keyer here that allows me to use the paddle. You can't actually hear it, but it's there. This is the keyer, this is the paddle, the power supply running it, and we log using a laptop computer, and you can see right here there's 110 contacts so far. I don't know if you can see that with the video, the 110 contacts there. So yeah, it's been good. We're sort of drawing out from time to time with the rain. The big news has been the rain this year and the wind. It's been quite a challenge.
Here we are in our natural environment, as exciting as it is this field day. We've had to contend with some very challenging weather, which was a good teaching experience for field day. We got wet as rats. People learned that if they want to stay warm and dry, they don't wear jeans to field day. You wear something else. I came prepared. I got a lucky experience that I've had scouting experience and know what crappy weather can do to your mood if you're not staying warm and dry. Very poor propagation conditions for me today. I was hoping with my highly directional antenna I brought out that I'd be able to talk to guys down across the lake, down in Buffalo in the world. Hasn't happened. But it gave me a good experience in getting this antenna up with the help of a bunch of people. That was very appreciated. And in the meantime, coordinating the generators for the group, and that went modestly okay. We had a couple that didn't turn up, one that went and puked on us and stopped working. Had to scramble around a little bit, but again, keep your cool and make adaptations as you go. And that's what we did, and that's what we learned from field day. So as to the technicals of what I've been operating here, nothing glamorous about it. It's called 2 meters. It's a VHF, very high frequency channel. Typically line of sight. With all the rain, line of sight gets worse than line of sight. That's why I haven't really had too many contacts. I've actually talked to about 6 different people since last night on the air. With field day, you don't use repeaters, which are most often used with this type of radio. So we're just living on our own, doing what's called simplex communications from point to point. And that's not something a lot of people do with their handheld, so perhaps they actually don't have a lot of simplex frequencies programmed into the radio to listen to them. So that could be part of why I'm down on field day with my counts. But I don't expect a million points out of field day. Field day is get you out of your living room, get you out of your shack, get you operating somewhere differently, and get you prepared should you need to operate somewhere differently that you're ready to go. And thanks to everyone who helped us out on this adventure here today at the Amateur Radio Club in Mississauga. Without all of us pulling together, we would all be standing alone and operating little stations and probably not having as much success. Very good.
Hi, my name's David Kingston, VE3 Mike Delta X-Ray, and I've been co-organiser of Field Day now for 4 or 5 years. This has most definitely been the wettest, probably coolest field day we've had. It's been a lot of fun. We've learned an awful lot in this time, and I'm looking forward to next year where maybe it'll be a little bit warmer, a little bit drier.
A little bit about the weather. Of course, emergency communications can happen anytime, sunny day or rainy day. And for this particular year, we've had rain all weekend long, and according to my rain gauge at home, yesterday and overnight we had over 1.5 inches of rain. Actually, it was probably close to more than 50 millimeters. So this has been a real test of emergency communications and stamina and how our equipment works, and keeping dry in our tents and our campers, and it has been a real challenge. But I would say in all in all, it's been very successful. We've got out here and we've had a lot of fun, and we've certainly learned a lot of lessons about how to prepare for emergency communications. I would say that we have exceeded our expectations all in all, considering the propagation, and certainly considering the nasty weather that Mother Nature has thrown us this here weekend. We're just about coming up to the close of this here event. We are coming up to the 27-hour mark, and which is 2 o'clock this afternoon for us, according to our event rules. So we will be packing up soon and storing everything away. And what we plan to do within the next few weeks, though, is we plan to have a conference and go over lessons learned and see what we can improve for next year. So that is the name of the game. It's emergency communications and constant improvement. So this is Ed Spingola, Victor Alpha 3, Tango Papa Victor, with the Mississauga Amateur Radio Club, Victor Echo 3 MIS, in Mississauga, Ontario. And we have had another great field day weekend. Thank you for listening and watching. And hope to catch you on the band sometime. So keep listening.